Hello, everybody, and welcome to Long Tracks and Tall Tales. We are so happy because the staff finally got the dosage right, and so here we are.
That's a new one. How
are we doing today, Chris? How are we doing?
We are doing
fantastic. Absolutely right. We are especially fantastic today, folks, because we have the magical and marvelous Jake Livgren on the show today. I am so pumped about this. Jake is one of my favorite musicians. Been following for a long time. Jake, I actually saw you open for Kansas at TPAC.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did, with your band. Yeah.
Did I meet you then?
Nope. I wasn't in the know or anything like that. But
you know what's weird about that show? I met a number of people that day after that show that went on to become incredibly close friends of mine.
Really?
Oh, more than one. That was a very momentous day.
Cool.
I have very fond memories of that. You used Pure Imagination for your intro. I remember that because I'm a big Wonka head, so that just stuck out in my head.
I did not know that, but yet another reason that we are brothers. I'm a Wonka head myself. I love it.
Yeah.
A lot of the tracks, a lot of the video of that show is still on YouTube.
Oh, I had no idea. I got to go find it.
I'll find you those links too.
I traveled a long way to get there. Anyway, before we get, we were living in Florida here at the time, and I went back. Topeka is where I grew up, and I have lots of friends there, and mostly went back to, visit with friends and hang out and stuff. And while we were there, it's like, oh, Kansas is playing. So my dad and my stepmother, we all piled on, and we went to the show. It was absolutely superlative. Great show. I've seen Kansas probably 12 times over the years. They've never sucked once. So not one time. Before we get too much farther in, we need to take a moment and acknowledge and send blessings out to the one and only Frank Beard from ZZ Top, who lost his battle today and got promoted. So Frank, we are thinking of you, brother. What an amazing band. Just nothing like ZZ Top.
Human metronome, man. Metronome.
There is an itch that a human being can have that only ZZ Top will scratch. Frank was a large part of that for many years. So our best wishes.
Very, very underrated drummer. Very, very good in the pocket. Not overly flashy. Didn't need to be.
Nope.
The music. He did exactly what the music needed, and he did it so well. And
yes, he did.
There's a place for both kinds, for sure.
There sure
Absolutely.
Is.
Well, Jake, I kind of want to start the show by Jake giving us a little bit about your formative years when you discovered music and when you first were saying to yourself, gee, this is more than just something I'm mildly interested in. I kind of want to really devote some time to this. What was the impetus there?
Well, it's kind of a story that ends up tying into the topics at hand. I was really introduced to, music and the fact that I could make it, I guess, by my grandma. My mom's mom, actually. My dad's brother is Carrie, but this is my mom's side of the family. I actually was blessed or cursed, whichever way you want to look at it, from both sides of my family. My dad's side was very musical, obviously. Our legacy goes back numerous generations. But my mom's side of the family was singers. So I got cursed with musical blood instincts, whatever you want to call it. And then also a voice from my mom's side. So, but my grandma used to babysit us a lot when we were little, and I had two younger sisters, and my grandma played piano, and she loved show tunes, Disney songs, the old stuff from The Greatest Generation. And so she had all these songbooks, and my sisters would love to sit at the piano with her and sing Disney songs and stuff.
That's awesome.
I had my toys, my Star Wars guys and all this stuff. So I was always off in the, Yeah, right.
Empire or Rebellion? Which one were you?
Always Rebellion.
Not me.
I
was Empire 3.
Yeah. I mean, I had my
ever the trailblazer are Chris.
I had moments, of course, nobody didn't love Darth Vader, but
right.
So I would have my toys and books and comics and things, and I would be off in the corner doing that while they're over here singing and stuff. And then my grandma would be like, "Jakey, come do a song." And so I would relent eventually and come and do it, and find that I could also do it just like my sisters. I just didn't care, Right. But in that same basement, my grandma used to pick up albums, LPs at garage sales and things. And, to her, it was just like, oh, this is current, so I'll grab it. It was the weirdest collection of different things, which we had Men at Work and, oh God, who's the YMCA?
Oh, Village People.
Men at Work, Village People, Thriller, the 1812 Overture. The stuff that we listen to is just the weirdest. But we would listen to it all a lot and just really absorb it. And so that was how I learned that I could sing. And then in like late elementary school, I started trying out and getting like the city honors kids choir. And then like middle school, I got into doing musicals and plays and started.
So you were on stage when you were a kid. You were in theater and things like that.
Middle school was probably the first time I was in front of a crowd by myself. Probably the worst disaster of my entire career was 8th grade. It haunts me literally to this day.
You really remember it? It was like
my God! We don't. The good things in life don't cement themselves in our memory. No. It's always the worst things.
It's the traumatic thing.
It was the lights come up. The intro starts to a solo that I had as Dracula. Actually, it was some kind of kids Dracula play.
Wow, Dracula Jr.
And I am fully prepared. Dress rehearsals went fine. Everything. Music starts blank.
Yep.
And I'm standing there. Never happened since then. I've missed lines here and there, but never been like went completely blank.
I have no idea what I'm supposed to say or do.
And so like half the verse music goes by and I just turn and walk off stage. There was no recovery. That was the worst.
Well, what else do you do?
Big debut. Big debut, and you're like,
exactly.
Oh,
so late middle school, I started getting in with some bad people. I kind of actually had my worst like partying days before high school.
Wow, that's rare.
And so I'd say 8th and 9th grade was probably I was most off track, and this is where it becomes relevant. So the thing that got my life back on track and sort of set my path for better or for worse was the summer before 9th grade. We go, my parents send me and my sisters down to stay with Carrie and Vicky in Georgia.
Okay.
And, he's always, I wrote him the dumbest, silliest, like fan mail. Like, it was so cringy. I can't even tell you. I will not tell you what I did one time in a letter. It was just
awful.
I would never be able to show my face.
Head smacking. Why did I do that type thing? Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, the sentiment was right, but I just can't even.
But terrible execution.
Yeah. So, we get down there and he's asking me, about myself and stuff. We didn't get to know him real well. We stayed with him a few times as kids and things, but
sure.
To me, he was more of a mythical figure in my life at that point. Right. And this was before he moved back to Topeka, and I really got to spend a lot of time with him and stuff. But I'd said, yeah, I sing. I'm in choir and I'm in plays and musicals and things. He said, oh, really? Well, maybe we can get you down in the studio, work on my album.
Oh my God.
And I'm thinking, yeah, right. So like the second day we're there, he's like, let's go downstairs. and he plays me some of the early versions of When Things Get Electric, tracks from that album. And he's like, you want to sing something? And I'm like, well, yeah, of course. So over the course of that trip, I ended up doing all the background vocals and actually 2 lead vocal versions that were ended up becoming demos for his. He hadn't settled on actual singers for it yet.
Right.
And I at the time I was like, well, why can't I be? But I listen to it now. I'm like, I sound like an infant, literally. So, it was for the best. But he did leave all my main background vocal tracks in there, and you can still hear them when you listen to that album.
That's
still there.
Amazing.
And it was so amazing. Formative, so just mind-blowing that I decided to straighten up, because I knew that I wanted that to be my life. And I failed. I'm a total failure, miserable human being. No.
All evidence to the contrary.
Yeah, absolutely not. Absolutely untrue.
Absolutely not. Nope, not accepting that answer.
Yeah. Well, so that's how I got started, and then he moved back to Topeka, and actually, I think during late high school and into my entire life since then, up until he kind of retired, semi-retired, I was working in the studio with him.
Wow.
Really, really, really awesome.
Wow.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay, tell everyone the story of Somewhere to Elsewhere and your involvement.
Okay, so he was working on his next album, and it didn't have a title at that time, I don't think, but it was sprawling. It was a whole bunch of tracks, and he was, for the first time ever, I think, I guess there was one track. There was one track that I tried, and there's very few times when I've ever tried a song and I did not get the song, or my approach was not right or something.
Didn't hit with you.
And he just, he was gently just said, I don't know if you're the guy for this one. And he ended up having another guy, local guy, sing it, and it turned out really good. That was Byzantium.
I love that song.
Like the one track.
Now, let me interject as a fellow vocalist from the outside looking in. It would not surprise me if anybody had trouble with that, because it's a real angular, jumpy melody, and it's a wonderful tune. I love the lyric. I absolutely adore that song. I love that whole album, but I love that song.
And I don't like to think that I kind of pigeonhole myself, but I think in a way we all have an area that we're comfortable with, and I definitely, all my favorite singers were kind of blues based, and so a lot of my licks and things that I do, they incorporate those scales, and he didn't want any of that in that song, and I just could not grasp it. So I had sung well, all of the songs that ended up on Collector's Edition, which was what well, I'm getting ahead of myself. So he had this album basically laid out, and then just out of nowhere, I think he got hit up by Phil about doing a new album, reuniting, and asked him if he had any songs. He's like, well, actually right now I have a whole bunch of songs. They were going to go on an album, but so he basically played them all of the demos and just let them pick X amount for the Kansas album. So sadly, I lost about half of the tracks that I had done. However, they left. I think they left all of my background vocals in, and so and the guys in the band, man, that was just one of the most just. Well, I'll tell you, I want to get ahead of myself again, but
Go ahead.
Get
all over the place.
It was so crazy to be thanked by my heroes. I don't know if that's ever happened to you guys, but to be appreciated and complimented and thanked just felt so bizarre.
It happened to me today.
Really?
Yes. I am friends with Andy Tillison. He is in the Tangent over in England. I loved the Tangent for years before I met him. Well, long story very short, I did meet him. I have become friends with him, and today he was in an interview with somebody, and he shouted out to me.
Oh,
It's
how
like,
cool.
oh, it's great. People like Scott Lade and you, Scott Rich, and the guy who was doing the interview, Scott Rich, and Chris Clark. People who do this for music is a great thing. He gave me a shout out. He's one of my musical heroes.
Wow.
So that actually happened to me.
That is amazing. That's bizarre.
Yeah. So I do know what you're feeling. I know.
Yeah. So, literally I would sit and listen to their albums and sing along to them to learn how to sing, like, grown up singing. I would, it's not a coincidence that, especially in the early days, I sounded a lot like Steve, because that he was my literal vocal coach, unknowingly, but I would sing along to the Kansas albums one after the other every single day for 2 or 3 years.
That's awesome.
And, so anyways, then what was left over, not to put it that way, because I think there's a lot of great tracks on both albums, but what was left became Collector's Edition. And but I still have the honor of being able to say that I did appear on a Kansas album. And actually, shortly after all that happened, I moved with my band down to Nashville, the band that you saw open for Kansas. And shortly after I got there, they played a show at the amphitheater down there. And I got backstage and everything and talked to him, and then I went out to watch the show. And in the middle of the show, Robbie thanks me for my work and the guide tracks, and said I did such a great job, and that they basically just copied everything I did. And it was the weirdest feeling. I literally felt like I was shrinking. I'm in the middle of this crowd, and I feel like I'm shrinking down into Ant-Man on my seat. It was the weirdest feeling to be publicly acknowledged by those guys.
Yeah, by Behemoth.
Yeah.
That was Robbie. I mean, I met Robbie one time very briefly at a local place, a local burger joint called Biff Burger. We were in there having some dinner, and we're just sitting there, and he comes striding in with his wife, and they sit down at the booth, and I'm just like, that's fucking Robbie Steinhardt. Because he lived in this area for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
And I went over just briefly, when we were done, got up and briefly, shook hands with him and just told him thank you, and really was an admirer and everything. I kind of get the feeling that he wanted me to sit down and chat with him, but I felt like I was intruding on his time.
I get that a lot.
I didn't want to be a pest, but I think, as I thought about it years later, and I've talked to other people, Rick Moon and the guys from Stormbringer, which is a band he had a band called Steinhardt Moon in the area. And those guys were all, very good friends with him. And I've told this story to Rick a couple of times, and he said, man, he probably would have had you sit down and spend the rest of the night
talking.
Was that guy. He was that guy. Yeah.
He was that guy. He was the closest that I was ever to any of the guys in the band, for sure. Yeah. I don't want to get into he was the most personable and, nicest guy to me in the band, and they were all nice. But he was the one that I would actually say I had a friendship with more than any other. So,
well, that's good that they were all at least nice to you, because we don't always get stories.
Oh, yeah.
Like that,
Yeah.
Jake, I'm gonna spring a question on you. I like to ask singers this, being a singer myself. Yes, I am a singer. Those of you who don't like that, it's whatever. You have your opinion. You're welcome to it. Jake, when you are singing, when you're at the mic, when you're singing, who in your head do you think you sound like? You have your own thing. You sound like Jake Livgren, but every once in a while you rub up against a couple of other singers. I have two in my head. I'm just wondering who you hear when you're delivering a vocal. If it's not you, do you ever hear yourself and go, I was really nailing Steve in that moment, or I was really nailing.
Well, yeah, I'll be honest. I am known as kind of a mimic, and pretty good at mimicking voices and spoken voices and singing voices. And I don't, like I said, early on, I probably sounded more like Steve than anybody. And I had a lot of like when I did the redo of Ground Zero, I was absolutely trying to sound exactly like David Pack. And a lot of people said that I did. And, you know, that made me feel great that I pulled it off. Oh man. So depending on what the song requires, I think a lot of times I'm kind of trying to channel different people. There was a part on, what was the name of it? I think it was maybe just the most recent Legacy Pilots, the song about space exploration.
The most recent one is which one? What's the name of that one?
Names, man.
Is it?
Bad news for me.
Not Helix, is it? Is it Helix?
No,
it can't have been. Y'all had
Camera Obscura. I want to say was
Camera Obscura. That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
But it's the
right.
song
I
about
found it.
searching for a new planet and then discovering Earth accidentally. Anyways, there's a final section of it that I was absolutely trying to sound like Peter Gabriel, and I don't know if anybody would notice or pull it off. You know whether think I pulled it off or not, but so depending on what the song is needing, I will kind of channel different people. There's been a lot of times. One of my absolute favorite singers is Doug Pinnick, and I don't have the growl to do him, but I steal his licks all the time. But I do like my voice is extremely like I don't. My friends in high school choir used to say I had a voice that hit you in the forehead like a beam of light. So like really kind of focused, and I don't know how to describe it, but it's not like his. It's not all
his is gravelly. His is real gravelly. Yeah.
I'm not black, and I can't pull off the soul. I
remember a wonderful interview with King's X that I saw. It was on MTV one time, and the interviewer, whoever it was, says, "So you all sing?" And the guitar player Ty and their drummer. Help me.
Jerry Gaskill.
Jerry. Wow, they looked at each other and kind of smiled and said, well, he sings. We sing along.
No, that's right.
That's fair, but I like both of their voices.
I love all their voices.
Yeah,
love that band.
There's a King's X song on Ear Candy that Jerry Gaskill is the lead singer on, I think.
I think that's not even the only one.
Yeah, there are others.
Yeah,
Jerry's taking lead on
one in particular that I remember.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. But so I actually, I don't know how many people know this, but Doug is a good friend of mine. Honestly, I haven't talked to him in quite a while, but there was a point where we used to walk around NAMM shows together all day and awesome. Hang out and do things that he likes to do, if you know what I mean.
Oh yeah, yes. Looking at all the merchandise. Mm-hmm.
Go to the hotel room and do things that Doug likes to do. But yeah, like I have so many great memories of that, and we're friends, and there was it was the tour that King's X in Kansas did. I think 2012, I want to say.
That sounds right.
Yeah, and I went to go to the show, and I watched King's X, and then I went backstage to talk to King's X, and I ended up hanging out with them through the whole Kansas show.
You didn't even watch Kansas. You were too busy talking with the King's
X. Because cool. We would just get into these really deep conversations, and man,
they're a fascinating band, and they're all fascinating. And
I mean, they're my number 2 all time.
Are they really? That's good.
Well, we're going to talk about your number 1 in just a minute. I know who it is, but I want to circle back around to the question I asked you.
Oh, so who do I sound like? Is that what you?
Yeah, I want to tell you who I hear.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
because I've been cramming Jake Livgren for the last probably 2-3 weeks since we started talking about this, and I've really been listening to a lot. It's funny that you mentioned David Pack, because I hear a lot of David about your voice, but more often than that, I hear Mike Gleason pop up in your voice.
That's not surprising. I listened to a ton of AD growing up too.
If you guys listening and watching don't know who Michael Gleason is, Michael was one of the 2 outstanding singers in Carrie's band AD. And man, I love AD. I might love AD more than I love Kansas. Some of that material is just so Beyond the Pale is one of my very favorite songs ever, and it's not. Yeah, it's.
Can't remember the words.
Yeah,
but that melody.
You got the melody.
Obviously, it's still right there.
Yeah,
I've never met anybody who King's X is their second favorite band. That's awesome.
Well,
really?
Well, let's just, since you've cracked the egg, we'll talk about it. One thing, Jake, you and I have in common: they're not my favorite band, but they are really high up there. You Are Nuts for Toto, I believe.
Number 1.
Yeah, wow. And I wear my Toto on my sleeve.
Me too, to the detriment of who knows what. I wouldn't want to know, but
every single Myth of Logic album has at least one song where I'm just kind of, okay, fuck you people. I'm gonna rip off Toto for a minute here. I don't care what you think. I just love that band so much. I loved Lukather's solo output. I love everything they touched. Every single thing any of those guys ever played. I'm still discovering, and literally most of the time it's just by never having really paid attention to something, and then one time I'll hear the song and I'll be like, "That's Lukather. That's a Lukather solo." Yeah, and then look it up and I'm right. I mean, when you know his style well enough, you can tell anything he played on. And I'll say this to take it back to the question. I don't know who I sound like in general, per se. You sound like Jake Livgren in general. Thank you. But you do. But my goal in life is to be the perfect midway point between Bobby Kimball and Joseph Williams. Oh, yeah. I want to be the halfway point between those two. That's I have a Toto story, and I didn't have time to tell it on the Prog Corner when we were on there together, but this is my fucking show, so we're going to tell it. It's real brief. I met Fergie Fredrickson. Oh, wow. I did. I was in a band called Shotgun Sally. We were a cover band touring the upper Midwest, and we played at the Blue Ox in Brainerd, Minnesota. Yes, that Blue Ox. And we were there all week, and Wednesday night we were opening for Fergie. Oh, wow. And he brought his band in. They were absolutely fantastic. He was one of the nicest people I've heard that you could possibly meet. We shot pool with him for probably 3 hours. He told us all these great Picaro stories. Apparently, during the recording of Isolation, which I absolutely adore, apparently certain members of the band were ready to fire him on the spot. He was having trouble feeling the beat of a particular song the way they wanted to. And Jeff actually said, okay, everybody get out of here for an hour. Leave me alone. And Jeff sat with him for a solid hour and showed him about what behind the beat is and where they wanted him to land. And he was always very grateful to Jeff because this is Jeff Picaro, for crying out loud. Yeah. He doesn't have to waste, $5,000 worth of studio time sitting down with me and going through this with me. But he did, and he saved him on that job because Fergie picked it up quick. No one wanted to bother. The other guys. Yeah, the other guy said, "You're the singer in Toto. You should know what to do." Well, Jeff recognized that he had the raw materials, but no one had ever told him how to relax and swing a little bit. They wanted him to hit his notes a little more behind the beat, and he just wasn't getting it. So, but Fergie was a great hang and a wonderful singer. Well, that's awesome. That's a great story. We had horrible monitors, and he just got up there and wailed. Never missed a note. Yeah, he had a great band. Powerful and incredibly talented. Range wise and stuff. I think it doesn't shock me that he might have had that issue because he was really very European. Very. Yeah. Scandinavian? I think you're right. I think you're right. Yeah. Which I am as well. But yeah, I mean, when it comes to that blues influence, it's got to be pretty intimidating to follow Bobby. And I mean, yeah, that voice. No slouch either, but he kind of had his own thing that was different than Bobby, but still fit Toto and still does. Yeah.
Of the guys I play with here locally, where they're just a cover band, they know Dennis Atlas pretty well.
Cool.
Yeah, I've been following him since he was a
guy
kid,
is
man.
nuts.
I'm so proud of him for doing that.
He's great.
He's awesome. And all props to the Toto guys for just saying, hey, come on, we want to do those Fredrickson songs again. Let's bring this kid along. It's all the stuff we can now do.
And
he is an absolutely insane keyboard player. God.
Yeah. And I haven't heard it, but I want it. But I'm not going to listen to it until I get the physical copy. I want his record. He has a solo record.
I've got it. I
don't. And so
I've got it. It's fantastic. It's as good as you think it is.
Okay.
Wow.
Then you're just lighting the fire under me to go get it.
So. Yeah. You'll love it. You'll love it, Chris.
Awesome.
I know you will.
Oh yeah. That's awesome.
Well, Jake, what point are we in your development here? We're just past Somewhere to Elsewhere. And what happened with you after that period?
Okay, well, I moved to Nashville. That didn't last super long. It was a great time, learned a lot of things, met some cool people, but it didn't last super long. Another thing that makes that Kansas show that we opened for momentous was it was also the last time my band Jabberwocky ever played as Jabberwocky. We worked so hard. It seems ridiculous now, but we literally practiced every night for 2 months to prepare for that show.
Wow.
It showed.
And really, that's cool to hear.
Yeah, you guys were that. I remember in the break there were several people around me that I knew for years and hadn't seen for years, and everybody was like, "Damn, Livgren's got his shit together, man. Where do you find these guys? This is really good." It was a lot of the chatter.
That's cool to hear.
Yeah.
It killed us. We overdid it and we got sick of each other or something. I don't know that we ever even really decided it was over. We just never got. It
was a great show, everybody. We'll see y'all later. Then back together
again. See you ever again. And the sad thing is, we wrote a bunch of tracks in Nashville that never got recorded, and that show on YouTube, I hope it never disappears, because that is the one and only performance of a lot of that material.
Wow. I need to go look at that.
Yeah. I don't even know if it's easy to find. I can always still find it, but I know I've
where to look
at
for
it a bunch of times. Yeah. It also something that's, I don't mean to bring things down, but it also features my sister on on background vocals in that show, who died in 2010. And so it's like that show couldn't be any more special to me.
No kidding. Yeah.
I had no idea. I just knew it was a great show.
Yeah.
Everybody was there to see Kansas. We were all excited. But I can remember the chatter coming out of the show after Kansas played. Everybody's like, "Man, Jabberwocky was really good."
Yeah, man.
And it's not like it was
me to this day.
It was not like it was a surprise, but it was not a surprise that you had put a good band together. But it was really good. It was tight and professional and
better.
Well, now 2 months of practicing every day will do that.
Well, yeah. What was how old were you at that time, Jake? What was your age about that time?
26.
Yeah. I wish I'd have had a band approaching that quality when I was 26.
Yeah. And, Nashville did it too. There was a lot of trial by fire there. And we ended up doing things that bands that had been in Nashville for years and years that we ended up playing with. And we would tell them, "Oh yeah, we went to," I wish I could, I can't remember the name of the station, but it's the big industry favorite rock station, at least back then,
in Nashville.
And it was weird because I would be listening to their every day, driving and whatnot, listening to that station, and what they would play every day that were the hits in Nashville. I'd come home, none of that stuff was on the radio at home. Mm-hmm. It's like its own little ecosystem. I think it's that way in LA too, but anyways, that station, we went in there, and I'm a big fan of like the Gilbert Gottfried podcast, where he talks about like the insider stuff from Hollywood and things. And he said a lot of times, what you don't know can be your greatest weapon in the industry, because we would just walk down Music Row, and we went to that station with our CD and gave it to people, and they're like, nobody does this. You have to submit. We have to like, what's the word where they requested, or
programming service.
Yeah.
It's a corporate machine.
Yes. Yeah. And we took it to just so happened the DJ that was working at the station the day we walked in with our CD, we hit it off with him, and he listened to the CD, and he's like, you guys want to come on and play live on our local music show or whatever it was? Wow. Just stumbled into this stuff. And the bands that we would play with, they'd be like, you did what? We've been trying to get in with that station since we got here 5 years ago. We're like, I don't know. We just walked in there and
handed it to him, and he was like, y'all want to play?
Took a shot. Sometimes it's what you don't know. If you know too much, you're tentative, you know. Right. Sometimes you just have to be dumb and enthusiastic, and good things can happen.
Like Scott. That's like when Scott and I talked about Glenn Rosenstein, and he was talking about how he put his name in for some power plant record company, and he was new at it and young at it, and they were like, well, we're not busy right now, we'll call you in 6 or 8 months. And he was not wise enough.
He was not taking no.
He wasn't taking no. He was dumb and didn't know. And he goes, look, if you'll take me now when you're not busy, then when we are busy, I'll be ready to play. And she was like, yeah, you're right. He wouldn't have done that if he had been listening to the industry experts.
Right.
Yeah, that was the power. That was
them if they don't want you to do it. So yeah.
That was the power station in New York, the famous recording facility there.
That's the point. Is you're right.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly right.
You're listening to the industry standard. Hell with the industry standard. Just walk in and give it to them.
Yep.
Well, I'm going to have to go seek those videos out and just see if I remember matches up with the videos, because we were all just floored. My stepmother she was a big Kansas fan. She didn't know anything about anything else. And she was like, wow, that first band was really good.
Wow.
Because so often you go to these kind of shows and, maybe the opening act is good. Maybe you get King's X, and, maybe you get something else that no one's ever heard of. But,
I became
I remember
a fan of a bunch of different bands, a huge fan of many bands that were opening for bands that I loved. Mm-hmm. Galactic Cowboys, I went to see them open for Dream Theater, and became just as much of a Galactic Cowboys fan as I was Dream Theater. And I, by the name, we were like laughing and driving there, like, who's this going to be? Galactic Cowboys. Yeah. And then we're just like,
oh yeah,
we're getting a little choppy from you there, Scott, on your
oh yeah,
me.
Yeah.
Am I back now? Weird.
Kind of choppy. That's pretty interesting, Jake. For you to do that, it's pretty interesting.
It looks totally smooth here. It must be my Wi-Fi or something.
That is, I've never heard anybody do it like that, Jake. That's amazing. It sounded like you were just like chopping out, and it sounded perfect.
That's the mimic.
Friends, Mr. Jake Livgren is nothing if not multi-talented. Let's hear it for him.
Yeah.
You can really tell by my bank account.
Oh. Has it smoothed out now? Am I still jerking?
Yeah, you're jerking pretty bad, and you're pretty fuzzy.
Whoa.
Really?
Not that kind of jerk.
Quit
okay,
it,
now
Jake.
see what he did there, Jake. Now he paused like he went, and I was like, did he freeze? God dang it, Jake. You're killing me. You're killing me, man.
We have fun. What can I say?
I can't take you anywhere, Jake.
That's horrible. It's like, wait a minute, am I the only one who didn't freeze? Look at that. Looks like he's frozen right now, and he's not.
Everyone's frozen but you, man.
Yeah, not me. I'm the only one who's frozen is Scott. He keeps freezing.
Yeah, I'm just doing it for fun.
I don't know why the hell that would be. Hang on, let me.
That's all right. Well, while he's trying to figure himself out, I want to ask you about this is the CD I want to ask you about. I want to ask you your involvement in these, in the Dreamer.
Yep.
And I love Neal Morse. Absolutely love him. Loved him in Spock's Beer. Love him in his solo work. Love him with the Neal Morse Band and Cosmic Cathedral and everything.
Yeah.
But these are very, very interesting albums, and I'd like to hear how you got involved in them. And
that's
that kind
a pretty interesting story. Cool. So and it ties back to the Kansas show. I'm telling you, that was one of those what are they?
Life-altering nights.
Yeah. Yeah. So one of the guys that I met for the first time that night was someone who is to this day top 3 to 5 best friends in the world, Bill Evans.
Okay.
You'll see his name in things. He was the guy that assembled Flying Colors. He put that band together out of various musicians that he had known and worked with.
Mike Portnoy's in that. He's the drummer for that.
Yep.
And so
Steve Morse.
Yep. So he and I had become very good friends and musical collaborators. We started writing together and recording together. Side note, the album that we have been working on since 2000, whatever it was, 4 or 5, has still not been finished or released, and it has some amazing songs on it. I can't wait. I hope
20 years
someday. Yeah. Well, we worked on it real hard at first, and then he got busy with other things. The same with me, and we would only do, we did some collaborating over the computer and stuff, but we really liked to work together in person. But he lived far away, and it was hard to pull that off.
Right.
Not much of an excuse for like the last decade, other than just life.
That handles the first 10 years.
Yeah.
What about the second 10 years?
I had kids, and about that same time,
life got in the way. That's how that works.
That's exactly
Life intrudes. Life intrudes.
Exactly it.
Yep.
So, but Bill and I had been working together, and so he was always trying to sell me to anybody that was looking for a singer.
Mm-hmm.
And he had, I think he was working with Flying Colors at the time, but he and I were working on our stuff at the same time. So I think at one point, someone in the band had just overheard him working on one of our tracks and heard it playing in the background, and said, it might have been Neal, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. And they said, who, that's great stuff. Who's that singer? And that's my buddy Jake. He's well, fill in the blank. I'm not going to describe myself, but, so Neal got word one way or the other, whether it was him or heard secondhand. And, he inquired to Bill about me, and Bill played him some of my tracks and stuff. And, he said, well, he kind of mentally, he's on a short list now. Wow. So, a few years later, he was looking to put together the Neal Morse band.
Yep.
And one of the first people I think that he approached was me. He called me up or emailed me, my memory, and asked about my availability, interest, whatever, in being a member of the Neal Morse band. And I knew, I don't think he told me, but I just kind of assumed that he was going to want guys that were like world-class players as well as singers. And, I knew that he would probably be doing the lead vocals. And I said, man, Neal, dude, if you ever want to collaborate on recordings or anything, please don't forget about me. But I don't think I would be the guy for this. I am not that proficient. I'm passable at a bunch of different instruments, but I'm not a virtuoso on anything.
Very good at all, master of none.
Exactly. Yeah.
Type of thing,
I said, I'm a singer that plays things. And so I turned him down. And he went on to get Eric, who was basically what he was looking for when he asked me, which is a incredible musician that is also a great singer.
Right.
And, but he did keep me on that short list. And so the next time I heard from him, he was recruiting people for that, first, the Jesus album.
Yeah.
And
the Dreamer.
Yeah.
Yep.
And yes. And no, the first one.
That's
Exorcist. The Exorcist.
The one from the
from Morse Fest.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Not this one.
That was the follow up. Not really a sequel, but anyway,
these were the follow up to that first one. That's right.
Yes, exactly. So he recruited me for that, and I said, "Man, this is way more down my alley." And you can. There's interviews out there that he did talking about what happened. I crammed that album for 6 months, at least twice a day, every day for 6 months preparing for that Morse Fest. And so by the time I got there, I knew every single note and every single word of every character in that show.
You could have done it all by yourself.
Well, that's the thing. I showed up the first day, but there was 2 or 3 of the main characters had busy schedules, couldn't show up till like dress rehearsal or maybe the day before that. But I was there like 3 days early. And so there was a whole bunch of parts that there was no one there to sing. And so just out of instinct, I got tired of having no one singing the parts. So I would just start to sing even the girl parts, just whatever was needed. I would just sing it. And I would do the mimic thing where I would try to sound exactly like them. And he just like, he really took to that. And he's like, oh man, you're saving my butt here. I didn't know how we were going to get through this.
Right.
And so that really made an impression. And he talked about that a lot in interviews after that and everything. And it was just like everything cool that happens to me. I'm like, it's just imposter syndrome. I can't believe that it's happening to me. You know, I take no credit. It's all just things I was born with.
Things you have fallen into. You
exactly.
Just fell into this hole and
it really is. And I'm so grateful for every opportunity I've ever had.
That's marvelous.
Well, before we fall too far behind time-wise, tell us how this started. Tell us how you came to it. Talk some shit on our friend Brent, if you like.
Make sure you do that.
I absolutely. Well, no, I have There's just one little thing that I have totally gotten over. When that whole thing started, I had already worked with, Carrie and Neal and several artists and bands and things. And I had this, kind of routine where, I would take their material and I would sort of interpret it my own way. And because I had always been successful at it and had, people let me do it because they liked the things that I came up with, I just assumed it would be the same with him. And this is not no dig on him at all. He's just a very different kind of operator than the other guys. And I know it took me a while to figure out why, but once I realized it, I totally forgave it all, because the first track that he sent me, I did a very different interpretation of it. In fact, I was really trying to rip off King's X. I wish I had I think I probably still do have the demo version that I sent him back, the very first track. And he's like, this is really good. This isn't maybe what I'm looking for, but he ended up keeping some of the elements that I added to it. I'm trying to remember what song it was now.
Off of this album?
Yeah.
By the way, for those of you who are listening on the podcast, we are talking about Emerald City Council.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
I keep forgetting I have to mention that stuff because a lot of our listeners listen to the podcast. Anyway.
I wonder if was it Noisy Talking? I don't know, but that's a fantastic.
I think it might be, actually.
Yeah.
Really?
It might be.
That's
okay. I was going to say Ice Thinning, but
no, that one he actually wrote that later on. He didn't have that ready to go when he started with me. He wrote that for me, for my voice. He's said many times, and
that's my favorite song on the album. I adore that.
It's really
and I listen to I since I've gotten this thing. Well, I've got it on CD as well. I listen to it at least once a week.
Yep.
Wow.
In the couple years I've had
1 through 9. The entire album is freaking masterpiece. I do.
Yeah.
I love this. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, it's so powerful and melodic, and it's unlike a lot of the other prog that's out there. It's got its own flavor.
Yes.
And that's what
I'm bad with titles. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, good.
I'm bad with titles, and so I was trying to grasp onto something that would identify the song. It's. I'm sorry, Brent, man. What an ass.
Yeah, you're right. Scott is an ass. Don't worry about
it. No. I'm talking about myself for not remembering anything. I have a terrible memory.
Mortal Game?
It's the one held inside. It's the bridge.
Okay. It's oh my gosh.
Is that Platforms of Illusion?
I think it is. I think it's from.
No, yeah, I think you're right. I think it's brutal camouflage. I want to say it's that. Anyways,
This is what happens when three old guys get together.
Right?
We're like, that's a great album. If I could only remember what's on the album.
I'm going to take it up with the staff. I thought they got the meds right today. So, I don't know.
They've got them all whacked out of whack. I'm telling you.
Anyways, that section of the song, it didn't have any of those harmonies and held out parts and stuff. That was me stealing from King's X. But the whole song was more like that. But he liked that part of it and let me keep that in there.
Okay.
But so the point I'm getting to is Brent is a college music professor.
Yes.
And so someone like that is like, as written. He's very rigid. I wrote it and intended it. Yeah, exactly. He's very rigid with what he comes up with. And I totally respect that. At the time, I was a little hurt, thinking, well, man, maybe I'm not what I thought I was. We all have these, or maybe it's just me. I have terrible self-image and everything, and I'm always looking for reasons to doubt myself.
No, we don't. It's just you.
But I learned after working with him on a few more songs what his method was. It's just really different from some of the guys I'd
He's a great guy. I don't know if you've watched any of our shows, but I met him at the we were supposed to go to the same Rush concert that got rescheduled. So we met up since the concert got canceled. We met up and had a good 2.5 hour chat and got to really meet him in person. Got to listen to the live version of Noisy Talking. He showed it to me before. He's a great guy. I love him. And,
I can't wait to hear the rest of that.
It's going to be so good.
Really looking forward to that.
Is that the song?
Noisy Talking?
I said Noisy Talking, and you said yes, and then you said no.
Yeah, that's what we said first off.
You're getting to know me.
Getting to know more about me.
You are something else, man. I wish I lived anywhere near you. We'd be going to bars and hanging out. This is great. Well, this album is fantastic.
It is.
I absolutely.
Now,
I agree. I had to listen to it a lot. And it was not work. I mean, I enjoyed it every single time I had to listen to it. It is a pleasure to
put on. It is so good.
He is
a fantastic writer, man.
Outside of the new live album, that's very, it's impending. Let's say it's crowning. Let's say
I was doing ODs on it last night.
There you go. You go.
Very few.
Yeah.
Very few.
Outside of that. Can you talk about any new ECC on the horizon? Is it bubbling under?
Schedule is to begin the new album as soon as the live album is out.
Okay.
I think that it wasn't a planned thing that we would do one, and so it kind of took precedence over the new album. He's really pushing for us to contribute, material for it and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that happens, but I don't know that I have anything pre-existing that's super appropriate for that band. I do write, and I have I actually really love to collaborate. That's kind of just, not being a real proficient with theory and not being like an incredibly great player at anything. I feel like a lot of my stuff is a little bit more. It's not really prog. I don't write prog because I'm not good enough to write prog. But I think I contribute.
No, you're just not pretentious enough, is what it is.
You go.
I'm plenty pretentious, pal.
Obviously, if you don't write prog, you're not pretentious.
Let's just talk about our tastes, and I'll get all pretentious on you.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay.
I'm kidding,
hey, Jake, it's your fucking show. You talk about what you want to,
That's
man.
Right.
I'm not kidding. You thought I was kidding, didn't you?
And wow me with your tastes.
You talk about chili recipes if you want to. This is your show, man.
Well, I was really put in my place by my son. We went on vacation and about a month ago, and we had one of the biggest fights we've ever had. And he told me how he really feels about my music and my taste. And even though I've been told by many people I highly respect that I have incredible taste. I learned that my music is total garbage.
From your son.
From my 19-year-old son.
From your 19-year-old. Well, you need to take that to the bank then. Obviously, they know what they're talking about.
I would call that a complete endorsement of your musical taste.
I'm not proud. I'm not proud that I said this, but I did say, the more you tell me I suck, the more I know I don't.
Exactly the truth. Exactly the truth.
Woo!
So I'm saying it's like that's you walked away the winner of that conversation right there.
So I didn't. It didn't hurt in that I doubted my taste. It hurt in that one of the things that I cherish the most about me and my dad's relationship is that we share.
Yeah.
I say this a lot to people. There's to me, there's no generation gap whatsoever between my parents and me. Right. There is a massive generation gap between me and my kids. Yes. I don't know what happened there, but
the internet. You did not grow up with the internet.
I shouldn't say I don't know. I know exactly what
the internet is. What happened. Yeah, that's what happened.
It wrecked everything.
The modern generation of kids, they care more about a 15-second TikTok clip of a song than they do about an album.
That's what makes a hit now. Yeah.
Exactly. Since Mr. has lifted it up and let us see it, Jake, tell us a little bit about Quivira. How did you come into the project?
Well, I had met and known Lisa for years because she's from here also, as I'm sure you know.
Yes, I do.
And she also had went away and had a storied music career elsewhere and then come back. And when she did, she had me sing on some recordings of hers then. And then we had, just kind of, I think I did some work for her. I do, sadly, all of this majesty behind you was not paid for by music. It was paid for by me busting my ass and breaking my damn back.
I'm a judge. I'm not a musician as a living. I'm a judge.
I might need to talk to you.
I'm sure you probably do.
But my dad taught me musical taste and remodeling, and that's what I've done for money, my whole life.
And the remodeling makes me great money.
Yeah, well, I'm not starving.
Great-ish. Great.
Yeah. I could afford to starve a little bit more.
There you go.
No. So
okay. So we digress.
I'm sorry.
So Lisa actually has had me do work for her, which I'm happy to do. That's a good way to spend time with people and get to know them better and everything. But we've also worked together musically, and she said, well, I'm really excited about this project coming up. Would you be interested in maybe being the singer on it? I mean, as simple as that. That's exactly how ECC happened. I mean, Brent got my info from Neal Morse and hit me up. And I said, can I hear some of it? Because I get offers. I'm not bragging, but I get offers, and sometimes the stuff is
not up your
rough.
alley.
Yeah. And I can't be attached to literally everything, but I've had some projects that I sang on that I feel like I did my best to make it better, and it ended up being really good. That sounds like the most stuck up asshole thing to say. I don't mean at all to
I set out to make it better, and now because of me, it's supreme. Thank you very much.
That is exactly what it sounded like in my head. Did it sound like that to everyone?
No.
I'm really not trying to be that way. But
when I was 5 years old, my grandmother told me it ain't bragging if you can do it.
That's exactly right.
It's not bragging. Right. If it's true, it's not bragging.
That's right.
I try really hard to be as humble as possible, but the truth is the truth. It was rough when I got a hold of it, and I thought, well, there's something there if we work on this and shine it up and make do what we can with it. And a lot of times, I think I've had some good things come out of that. But
that's awesome.
Sometimes you get people that there's just no doubt at all. I mean, the first demo I got from Brent was like, oh yeah, I'll be a part of this.
Yeah, this is gonna be good. Yeah.
Yeah.
On this.
And the same thing with Frank. His stuff was stellar from day one. Talk about
and if I may toot my partner here's own horn. That's the way I feel about Myth of Logic.
Quit it.
No, man, Scott.
I've heard, I agree.
No, and that's my point. When he's like, "Do you want to be on board?" I'm not even like, "Fuck yeah, I want to be on board." I love your album.
Look, since the subject comes up, just very briefly, Jake, I had no intentions of ever involving anyone other than a few special guests here and there, and doing it all myself. But Chris and I have just hit it off like a house on fire. And he was a fan of the band, of what I was doing. You know, he had bought, I think, the first 2 or 3, and he would always buy the autographed ones from me, and we just struck up a friendship.
I love that.
And then he sent me a recording of him playing Natural Science by Rush, and fucking nailing it, I might add. And I was like, okay, You know, so to me, in my life, I cannot force collaboration. It's gotta be totally organic, where you just look at each other and go, yeah, let's do this.
That's where we are. We've become really good friends just because we get along. We're the kind of people who, if I lived in the same area, or if we lived in the same area, even if we weren't in the band, we'd be friends.
Yeah,
we just like everything the same, and we chat and do this on a normal basis. And
I'm sure that I would fit right in with that.
I can already tell. Yeah, you would be part of the trio here.
It's really, it's really rare, you know, in life to meet somebody that you just know after one time talking to them that, well, if you know, we're either friends or we could be friends. It may not work out that way, but you know, just those special people.
Absolutely.
I agree with
that 100%.
Yeah, with Bill Evans and I don't. You know what the Wheatheads are? The traveling.
Oh
Wheatheads?
The traveling Wheatheads.
I made a lot of good friends that you know, were other traveling Wheatheads.
I've seen some video of you performing at a couple of their gatherings. I believe you did it in Comudro, and I've seen that video a couple of times.
Yeah,
that is my favorite Kansas song.
That is not that I enjoy my image on any screen at all. I don't. I hate it, but I was a little bit disappointed that I apparently, and there's even a note, I think, or a comment they put in there that said that they had set up a static camera to record the band, and someone had bumped it walking by, and it completely cut me out of the entire night. I'm not visually there, but take my word for it, I was singing.
You were there.
So tell us about Quivira. How did this come together?
So basically, you know, we had a pre-existing friendship, and she just asked, she had me in mind for it. She asked me and sent me the demos and stuff, and that was one of those easy choices.
Yeah.
And it was, I want to say she was either I can't remember now. I was going to say she might have been continuously writing stuff, or she was just, maybe it was a financial thing. She was only able to work on one track at a time. Just, you know, there's no budget for music anymore. And so it's a labor of love, and you can only afford to do what you can do. Luckily, I have very little overhead. I've literally had this Chinese Neumann knockoff mic since it was Carrie recommended this brand. I don't even know if they're still around. Super Lux. I want to say I've been at NAMM shows where they still had a booth and stuff, but I have no idea if they're still around. But I've had this mic, never used another mic in my life.
That's awesome.
For 25, 30 years, I've had this mic and still use it on everything I record.
So everything you've done has been done right there on that mic.
Yeah, unless I'm in studio with Carrie, or I sang in real studio and stuff. But as far as my own stuff, I have never. Actually, the overdubs for the live album, our producer, requested that I use a 58, since that's what I was using at the show.
Not a bad idea.
Make it sound like the same, you know, setup and everything. So that was the first time I've used any other mic to record with ever. This was like a $300 mic. It's literally a Chinese Neumann. Like,
it's
they
really
stole
cool
everything.
I'm just going to tell you, being a fan of your music, it's really cool to sit here and see the mic that you did most of that.
That is cool.
It's really cool.
It is. It's
very
not
much
cool
to look at, but it is one. And I have dropped it. It's fallen over more times than I could count. And it's a ribbon. I think it's a ribbon mic, so it's delicate, but it is.
Obviously not.
They knew what they were doing when they built this thing.
Well, it sounds good, man.
It does sound good. It sounds good right now.
Good.
Well, I've enjoyed this. I'm going to listen to it some more, but so far from what I've heard, I like it. I really love the tracks you're on. They are.
Oh, thank you.
I
haven't had a chance to listen to the whole thing. There's not any other vocal tracks. The rest of it's instrumental.
Lisa's husband.
Gonna kill me for saying
Lisa's husband. What's his name? I'm sorry.
John.
I was gonna say John. Lisa's husband John sings on one song.
Yeah. Okay.
But all the other vocals. There's a couple of.
Sorry, go ahead.
There's a couple of voiceovers, is all I was gonna say. But other than that, yeah.
Yeah, I don't. John makes his living. If there's anything that I would want to do more than this, it's voice act and narrate, and he does those things for his money. He's done that ever since they lived in LA.
Oh, that's cool.
He makes his living reading audiobooks and doing voiceovers and things like that, and I'm like so jealous of that.
That is really cool.
Yeah, it's a hard business to break into.
Well, and I'm sure it's harder. I'm sure it's harder to do than it sounds.
And it's probably harder now that AI is taking over everything. Yeah.
And with home recording being what it is, you used to have to go to a studio, and that's another thing they talked about a lot on the Gilbert Gottfried podcast is just the lives of like character actors and voice actors and the people that did the cartoon voices and stuff. I'm just fascinated by that stuff. And
Mark Slaughter from the band Slaughter, he's done all sorts of the Animaniacs. If you've ever seen that,
you're kidding me.
Most of that is Mark Slaughter. Yeah, he's done a ton of that stuff forever. Jerry Outlaw, who sat in on a song on Last Myth of Logic album, he's done a bunch of that work too. He does the most astounding range of voices. You unimaginable what he can do. But I mean, the people that do that work, they get it and they don't get fired because they're great at it and they do all. But yeah, Mark Slaughter has been making he hasn't made his money off Slaughter in a long time.
I was today years old when I knew that.
Yeah,
me too. Yeah, and the weird piece of trivia before I'll say when I was still in my kind of hair, that weird time in the early 90s when I was in high school and I was still into all the hair bands and the like the transitional bands from that particular couple years, and Slaughter was one of them. And my best friend and I, that was like their second, not the one with all the hits on it, but the second album, The Wildlife. That was what we listened to all the time.
Wow.
And so that's bizarre.
It is bizarre.
Were you ever aware? Now, Jake, did you grow up in Topeka or?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Were you ever aware of a band called Alchemy?
Yeah.
I was the last singer in Alchemy. I sang the last half dozen shows. The band. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I want to say I know at least one person from that.
Mike Kelso was a keyboard player. Probably Joe.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, Mike.
Did Mike die? Mike
passed. Yeah.
Yeah. I knew him from very early on. He worked with Carrie on some things. I think
a little bit. Yeah, they did collaborate a little bit. I don't think any of it saw the light of day, but yeah.
But that's how I knew him. Yeah.
You guys were talking earlier about meeting your heroes. Being in that band was meeting my heroes.
Wow.
I adored that. It would have taken a lawyer to get me out of that band. It really would have. I was so. It was like, standing in the middle of this vortex of sound that those three guys could make and just singing over the top of it. It was an absolute dream.
Wow.
There's a bunch of videos on YouTube if you go searching for it with me in it.
Send me some links.
Red hair down to my ass.
Oh God! Get ready to see it and go, what the hell?
I want to hear that.
I loved being in that band. That's
great.
Yeah,
it didn't last very long. It was right at the tail end of it.
About 2 years. It's such a long, sordid tale, and I'm gonna gather some information, try to tell it one day. But within the space of 6 months, and Billy Greer from Kansas is involved. He actually sang in Alchemy several years before I did.
Wow.
It's a long, sordid tale, but during a 6-month period that ended with Billy being the singer, they came this close to a contract with Geffen twice in a 6-month period. And it just didn't, by the time I was in the band, we're talking that period it was before Billy went on to be in Kansas. It was after Streets and before Kansas.
Wow.
And they, by the time I joined the band, they had just had the living crap beat out of them. They had no desire for it anymore. We made some great music. We wrote a few really good songs together, and I was, that's where I'd always wanted to be. But it took a while for me to catch up and be good enough of a player and singer to be in that band, and I finally did it. So that was my heroes saying thank you, was being in that band.
That's awesome.
That reminds me of the feeling of doing that first Morse Fest. I can
imagine
on stage with that many guys of that caliber was just
they're doing Morse Fest right now, aren't they? Aren't they about to? Or are they?
Yeah, I think they're on a little mini tour.
The Neal Morse band is doing.
Yeah, they just finished up a few nights ago, and I think they have a little break before they do Morse Fest.
And then they're doing Morse Fest here, and then they're doing one overseas.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, he's a big name, man. He's much bigger than people give him credit.
Yeah, I absolutely my favorite thing that he has ever done was Neal Morse band. I was also really big into his Spock's Beard stuff too, but something about Neal Morse band, like it really tears me up that I couldn't do it.
You know what album of his is my favorite?
What?
His very first solo album. It was just called Neal Morse. And it was just, he was still in Spock's at the time. And it was just it was more song oriented, although there's a huge proggy thing at the end because he can't help himself.
Right.
Nick played on it. Nick DiVirgilio played on it. But if there's any musician I would love to work with in the entire world, it's Nick DiVirgilio, because he's the whole package.
I apologize if I may have told this story elsewhere.
Do it.
But it's still one of my favorite things. So when I went to do that Morse Fest, I was, super nervous all the way around, but strangely enough, maybe more nervous than it deserved. That's a shitty thing to say, maybe, but I was so like, I was going to work with the guy from Whiteheart and Petra and all these bands that I used to listen to tons.
Don't wait for the movie.
And but the one that made me almost beyond, no pun intended, but petrified to meet was Nick, because Shaming of the True is my all-time favorite album.
It's his all-time favorite album.
There you go.
Scott.
You and me are brothers under the skin. There is no more perfect example of what a perfect record must be than the Shaming of the True. I have about 6 different versions of it. I've got the limited edition vinyl, and
there's been so many.
I don't even know why.
Gilbert things that I wished I'd had the money to buy. Dude, if you can send me copies of all that stuff, there's still not copies, but whatever.
Toy Matinee. I've got everything. Yeah. Everything the estate has released, I've got it all.
I remember when they were putting that stuff out, and I was like, it was so expensive. I just didn't have the money. I wanted it really
fortunately, they parceled it out in a way where I could justify it. But yeah, I've got everything, and it's really kind of, it's sort of small and elitist, the community of us who love Kevin Gilbert. But it's wonderful that it has still not shown up on streaming anywhere, because those recordings that I spent all this money and invested all of this money in are still valuable, because you can't go and stream it.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's special to us who loved Kevin. I remember when he died, it was just heartbreaking, absolutely heartbreaking. Toy Matinee is one of my favorite records too. And
same,
Thud is awesome.
The world was so shortchanged by him leaving when he did. Like, I can't even, can you imagine if he had been alive all this time continuing to make albums? Yeah. Like, how am I?
Imagine the gold mine that would be.
I console myself by saying something that Kevin would probably say. He said, "Yeah, and I never had a chance to suck either."
That's so true.
He would say, he would say that. But what he left behind, though, I mean, when you look, it takes up, I'm not kidding you, this much space on my CD shelf, the entire collection of everything he left behind. It's just
prolific doesn't even touch it. I mean,
nope.
Considering what little payoff there must have been for all the time he put in, it's the perfect example of something that I am absolutely not, and will always lament about who I am, is diligent and just addicted to creating and recording. Like, I don't know what it is. I think I'm too easily distracted or entertained that you know, I'll even have a experience that leaves me just refreshed and renewed and like falling in love with singing or writing or something, and then 2 days later I'll be back to looking at toys on eBay or whatever.
He is in America what would be now what Peter Hamill is over in the UK.
I would agree with that.
Non-stop recording. Peter Hamill has something like 50 albums, and that's not including all of his Van der Graaf generator stuff.
Yeah,
he just does not stop. He is always having to do something.
Back in the day, that's how Carrie was, and I admired it so much, and but just it's never been me. And the sad thing is, I was given all the tools to do all the things that those guys did, and I just don't. It doesn't compel me the same way it does guys like that. I wish I could say it did.
I can't turn it off. I can't. I'm writing. I've got an entire album written. Chris will tell you. We've got a 70-minute album written, waiting for drum tracks, and I'm still writing shit. I can't help myself.
Well, there's come a point in time I've had to be like, look, man, put it off, and we can have another album.
Yeah, yeah. That's how Bill is too, and you know, I think he kind of got disillusioned with me over the years that I don't have that same level of
impetus.
Yeah, exactly. That's the perfect word.
Yeah.
And I know I've had a lot of time to analyze myself and ask and figure out why that is. And this is going to get a little deep and a little sad, I guess. But I have definitely always been intimidated by the legacy of the name, and I've always really, really harshly criticized everything I create, and I just never feel like I live up.
The one thing you don't want is, Jake Livgren, Carrie Livgren, and it's not Jake Livgren. Are you related to Carrie Livgren?
I get that. I mean, I used to get it a lot more often, but I get it all the time. And it's not that I don't doubt what I'm capable of, but I don't believe in the level, I think if you don't have anything to follow like that, you don't have any constraints on what you do. And I'll start writing something and I'll be like, nobody would ever listen to this if Carrie did it. This sucks. I mean, it's not like a chronic thing, but I've had to like come to grips with it over the years.
Well, that's fascinating.
I
get
believe
it, because you're in that unique position of being related to like one of, in America especially, one of the premier prog rock bands is Kansas.
Yeah.
And no one can tell you how that feels, because I can't think of it. I mean, certainly there's got to be other examples, but
and it's honestly, it's hardly ever been based on anything that anyone has actually said or done. It's just it's who I am. I'm extremely self-conscious and
you know what though, there is something joyous in your ability to admit that to yourself. There really is. And we are who we are, and we shouldn't shy from it, and we shouldn't try to pretend that we're something we're not. That gets us in trouble more than anything else. So you embracing that's the way you are, I think that's a victory for you, man. I really do. I mean,
it's either that or you kind of unknowingly torture yourself your whole life, but I'm really self-analytical, and I that's why I try to stay humble, because I know what goes on in my own head. Like I definitely humble myself, but so what I've done is I've learned to embrace the things that I truly do believe that I'm really good at. I believe I'm really good at writing melodies and writing harmony arrangements. I think, and lyrics. I'm also really proud of myself as a lyricist.
Scott's a great lyricist.
Oh,
you are.
I got dude.
I get that
links.
from you know what? I get that from Kevin. I
yes,
appreciate.
oh my gosh,
I appreciate it so much. I appreciate it so much. There's a word I use a lot when I'm talking about musicians and artists that create music, and that word is care. He always took great care.
He loved
in
to use
what
that
he was,
word too in his lyrics. You know.
Yeah, he always, his lyrics were so carefully crafted, and I always try to do that in my stuff. The last Mythologic album, The Memory After, was very difficult because I was trying to tell this epic story in 79 minutes, which is a long time, but the lyrics had to tell this story. But I like his style of economy. He doesn't, it's not a literal telling of the tale. It's very evocative.
Yeah.
But he does that a lot. His lyrics are so just, they're always correct for what he's trying to say, and they always say a whole lot with just a little tiny bit of wordplay.
That is the art. To say a lot while not using too many words to say it is there's where the art comes in.
Neil Peart was awesome at that as well. Neil could give you an evocative piece of imagery for your head with just a few lines, and that is a challenge. For some reason, I've been able to do it for 5 albums now. So anyway,
you're gonna
man, let me. I feel bad because I feel like this is a connection. This is kind of a next level connection, and I feel bad because I'll admit I am in that stage of life where I am kind of stuck on the stuff I already listen to and I already trust, and so that's why I feel bad that I haven't really listened to much of your music, but I really want to.
Okay.
Because of the connection we've made, knowing that you're a big Kevin fan of King's X and all that stuff. Like, I need to like.
The Shaming of the True is my favorite album. Scott Lade has Tales from Topographic Oceans, which I have come around to. I have Shaming of the True. There's just, it's flawless from first note to last. It's absolutely
isn't it fascinating that it was that unfinished?
Yeah.
And that's why to get back to the story I was telling, that's why I was so nervous and just awestruck to meet Nick DiVirgilio, because
we wouldn't have that album without Nick.
No, I know. And I knew the stories behind it, that he basically took it and made it a lot of what it is, and used what he knew was Kevin's vision for it, and just kind of filled in the gaps and built the bridges there. And to me, that was, can you think of another story that's anything like that, where a person, a completely separate person, made an album that good out of something that was only 2/3?
Well, fortunately for us and for Nick, Kevin was an absolute obsessive in all areas of his life. He left copious notes.
Yeah.
And his handwriting was very legible, apparently. He left copious notes as to where he was thinking stuff could or should go. They had to make some. He and the producer, whose name is escaping me right now. He worked with Satriani a bunch, but it's going to kill me. I can't remember his name. They had to make a few executive decisions along the way, but for the most part, from what I understand, he left pretty explicit instructions as to how he wanted it to go. Yeah. That's why the stuff the estate has released is so important. We're supposed to be getting a 3-disc Shaming of the True set. It was supposed to be out last year. I'm not sure what's holding it up, but that one's supposed to have unreleased.
Nick DiVirgilio was responsible for that. That guy's busy. He was on the new Car Mechanic record.
Big Train.
Big Train. He's all over the place.
Yeah,
so
10-4.
I mean, that might be why it's backed up. Is all I'm saying is he's got his irons in a lot of fires right now.
Could be. Well, listen, guys, we have spent a wonderful hour and 23 minutes. Jake, I am so happy we got you on the show.
Yes,
I've been an admirer of yours for a long time. Chris and I have listened at length to everything that you do, and believe me, it's more than worthy, and you do not have to feel ashamed of any single note of anything you've ever done. Man, I promise you.
That's really nice to hear.
I absolutely promise you.
A lot of things come and go, and they go out with me feeling really happy and proud of what I've done, and then you don't hear a whole lot just because it's such a niche audience that and there's always so much of it coming out that things get, you hear something and then you're like, oh, that's really good, and then the next thing comes along and it gets forgotten. So to hear that guys that I can obviously respect their opinions, to say that to me is very humbling, and it's exactly what you need to go on and keep believing.
And you just seem like a really cool dude, despite the fact that you're a Chiefs fan. I'll let that slide.
Oh, now you had to go there. We got an entire hour. We got an hour and 20 minutes in there without even mentioning football. My God.
You're the one who told me you were going to throw me to the wolves because I was wearing a Raiders shirt the other day. Don't give me that.
Hey, I said that off air. I didn't do that on the air, man. I would never do that.
Your fandom reminds me of my very best friend in the world for years now. He is from here, never lived anywhere else, and he is an obsessive Baltimore Ravens fan. I'm always giving him shit. I'm like, why? This is supposed to be a geographical determiner.
It's not.
It's not, but it is supposed to be.
My three favorite teams are not from Texas.
I told him before we went on air.
That's what I've so I have to ask. Maybe your story is like his. His is really weird and makes absolutely no logical sense at all. And I've told him that many times. He grew up loving. His dad was a Royals fan and a Chiefs fan, but for whatever reason, he took a liking to Cal Ripken Jr. He was a huge Cal Ripken Jr. fan.
Yep.
And so he grew up loving the Orioles, and then when Baltimore got a football team, he just naturally took them on as his football team, and they became
perfectly logical to me.
Yep,
it's not at all. It makes absolutely no sense. It's not respectable. It's not respectable. You're supposed to go down, loving the team that is nearest your place of birth. I mean, we all know that. There's no question.
We all know this.
So
baseball is different for me. Baseball is more transitory. We moved down here to the Tampa Bay area in 2004. At the time, the Royals were lousy and the Rays were lousy. And it was real easy to trade one lousy team for another for me. I will never give up my Chiefs. I bleed red and gold. It's part of my DNA. But I have adopted the Rays. And suddenly, in a few years, they weren't so bad anymore, and they're a real fun team to watch. So
I'll give you a very, very quick breakdown. I like the Buccaneers because I've liked them since I was 5 years old.
Gonna see them on Saturday. Can see them get beat by the Chiefs.
I loved the Buccaneers' old uniforms.
I have the Bucko Bruce helmet, the real Bucko Bruce helmet.
Whether or not I liked another team, but besides the Chiefs, usually was based on their uniforms.
Well, I'm gonna have to send you a picture of my Buccaneers helmet.
That's awesome. No, I've always been a fan of the Bucks too, actually, and
and that's good.
They make it hard. The ownership makes it really hard.
Yeah, Glazers are not the best people.
Worst ownership in football. Worst.
I like the Raiders because if they're 0-16, the stadium is full.
If anybody on Bucks ownership is watching this, and I'm sure you're not, pay the man. Pay Baker what he's worth. It's ridiculous.
Was there a time when they were not 0-16?
Oh,
was there a year?
Livgren.
I'm trying to remember.
To jump through this.
Okay.
Think of any time when.
All right. Before this gets too violent, folks. Jake, thanks once again. We've had such a great time.
Same.
Once
Scott,
again,
I have to mention one thing that is killing me now that we're friends. Now that we're actual good friends here. You're in Tampa Bay.
Yes.
That's where we were on vacation a month ago.
Oh, fuck off. Really?
We flew into Tampa and we didn't stay in Tampa, but we were there. We went to St. Pete Beach the day we got in. If I had only known.
I can walk to St. Pete Beach from here.
Do you own a vacation home? Because I will come back.
This time of year? Oh, boy.
No, it was hot. It was hot as hell, but we had a blast. We did Airbnb, but we stayed half the time we were in Orlando and half the time we were in Venice. So,
wow.
But we flew in and out of Tampa, so I could have come and said hi.
Yeah, damn it.
Well, this is going to be continued, friends. I'm very sure of that. On behalf of myself, Scott G. Davis from Myth of Logic, and my good friend and drummer, Mr. Christopher Clark, also from Myth of Logic, and our new friend, Jake Livgren, we have had such a great time chatting today. I hope you've enjoyed it. That's about all we got time for today. Until we're together again, be good to one another.